Well met, adventurers, and merry winter's fest to you! As my sweater says, it's time for Yule! But anyway, 'tis the season, and as such, some dungeon masters like to inject some of the holiday spirit into their campaign, and so here are just a few different concepts that you can use if you want to do kind of like Christmassy themed kind of side quest, kind of side adventure within your campaign. So let's get into it. So yes, it is I, Nathaniel Gomezian, shopkeeper and proprietor of Gaming Treasure Chest, and in today's video, as I said, coming up with a few different concepts and ideas that you can use to inject a sense of Christmas or whatever winter holiday it is that you celebrate into your campaign through little side quests or something that you can just throw in there on top of your normal campaign, you know, just to let your players have a little bit of fun and seasonal joy. So that being said, let's get into a few different ideas that you can kind of use. So, of course, you can do the obvious of having some kind of Father Christmassy figure. I like to use the Hogfather because I massively love Terry Pratchett's Discworld series. If you know what the hell I'm talking about, please comment down below because I'd love to hear other Pratchett fans and whatnot because he's a great inspiration. A lot of different things that I include in my world, I have little nods going on to that. But if you want to include, like I said, Father Christmas himself or something that's like Father Christmas who makes sense in your world, then maybe they're in peril in some kind of way and your adventuring party has to save them. Now, of course, you can do this in various different ways. You can mesh concepts together as well. So maybe your Father Christmassy figure has been kidnapped by the Grinch, or let's just call him like what my DM did on one kind of Christmassy thing that he planned for us, the Grinch. So let's just say the Grinch has kidnapped Santa Claus and your party has to go into his lair in order to rescue Santa Claus. And you can have different holiday themed puzzles within his lair that they've got to make their way through to get to him and rescue Santa Claus. If you've seen The Big Bang Theory, then you kind of understand what I'm going on about, but if you want to throw in a few different things, like maybe there's a mimic in the shape of presents and they come across a room full of presents and there's a couple of mimics in there disguised as presents, things along those kind of lines. Now you can have it that there's some kind of traumatic backstory behind the Grinch and why he's doing this, of course, and your players might be able to discover that along the way if you want to, or you can just do it a straight up combat against him. One additional thing that I forgot to mention but realised when editing it was that when your players save Santa, they should get a gift that's very based around their character, and I can tell you from personal experience of receiving such a gift from our DM, it's very memorable and and can hit that character very emotionally as well at the time, so it could be a nice little thing to add in there for your players. Another way that you can use the Grinch figure is that maybe there is a town which has been cursed with forever being in winter, so when your players arrive, everything else outside of it seems nice and sunny, but as they arrive at this town, there's bitter winter and snow coming down, and that's because the whole town has got a bubble around it of curse, if you like, whereby it is in perpetual winter and snowiness. And so you can use that as maybe the Grinch was brought up there, didn't like it around these kind of times, and so he cursed the town to always be within this, and then the town basically asked the players to try remove the curse by basically trying to work out a way to kill the Grinch or to reason with him or whatever you decide to do. And yet again, that's another way that you can make it into his lair. This video is just going to be me spitballing ideas and different concepts, so if you choose to go with any of them or change them in any ways that you want, please feel free to. Anyway, back into other ideas. Maybe you want to include some weird magic from the Fey realm, and maybe you can do something along the lines of a Christmas Carol / Scrooge, whereby these fairies take your players through their past, present and future, and there can be some quite interesting things you can do with this. Maybe you can do the past as a group, in terms of how they first met thing, and what went on there. There was secret things going on behind closed doors that other players didn't know about at the time thing. Or you can do it, you go through each player's past individually, and there can be maybe secrets along the way that they discover themselves or the other party members discover because they're there watching, in a Harry Potter pensive way where they can see what's going on, but obviously they cannot react to it or whatnot. And that can be a fun way to shine a light on some players' backstories and such. Obviously, as I said, if you want to keep it completely individual for the past, you can do, that's up to you, but it could be a fun concept to play with. Then you can obviously do the present, whereby the players maybe get to see an insight into certain favourite NPCs, what they're currently doing in the present, what's going on with them, or even what the villain is currently doing in the present, so it gives your players an insight into what is currently going on with that. Then you can show your players the future, and you can play around with this however the hell you want in terms of the fact maybe it's a dystopian terrible future where the big bad has taking control and like them seeing what the consequences are, like maybe if they don't act on certain things or whatever you want to do with this, straight up Scrooge this and they get to see their graves or whatnot. But of course, just like in A Christmas Carol and with Scrooge, that is a future that might be and not necessarily is determined. So as I said, can have a lot of fun with that. As well, another off stream that you can do with this concept is you can do It's a Wonderful Life kind of thing, whereby your players' characters get to see the world where it would be like if they weren't in it at all. And so you can go back through different adventures that they've done in the past and different situations that they've solved and kind of shine a light on what would have happened if the players had not intervened and things like that. So you can go about it in a kind of narrative way like that. As I said, there is ways that you can throw in potential combats and what, like maybe these fae folk fairies, that's a very complicated thing to say like very quickly by the way, are showing these visions. Maybe there's like other fae folk who are encroaching in on this and don't want you to see these kind of things, and so they then come in and there starts like a battle and whatnot, and so therefore there is actually ways that your party can have combat within these situations and scenes that you are showing them. So that can be a fun way to play with that as well if you don't want to just do this as a narrative thing and want to throw in like combats and some fun in there. There's ways in order to fold those in. And of course you can just flip the whole thing on its head and have the Santa character as being a very evil character who has enslaved these elves or gnomes or whatever to do his bidding, and the party has got to get involved and rescue and kind of stop the evil Santa Claus kind of thing. So you can go about in that way as well, and there's a lot of fun different things that you can do. But as I said, these are just a few different concepts and whatnot that I've come up with. I would love to hear if you've ever run any kind of like Christmassy kind of themed campaigns or different spin-offs and what like that. I would love to hear what you've done down in the comment section down below, as well as I'm sure loads of other people would love to hear in terms of if they want to be able to use those things. We use this as an idea riffing kind of session to have a lot of fun with. So please let me know in the comment section down below, as well as if you enjoyed this video, why not consider liking and subscribing to the channel where you can see more kind of things along these lines, D&D based kind of things, as well as there is the Discord server if you want to join. It's very small at this moment in time. I'm hoping to build it into a lovely community where we can all talk things Dungeons and Dragons and have idea riffs like this, as well as potentially coming up with game groups in the future. I would love that to be a thing. But as I said, do not feel forced. As well as if you want to help the channel out financially, why not check out the Patreon or even the Etsy store of Gaming Treasure Chest. Now, admittedly, I know the holiday season is like just around the corner. There's not going to be time for me to be able to get things to you. But if you like Dungeons and Dragons themed items, be they dice rollers, dice holders and such, these are all items that I have designed myself and I will 3D print and send to you, the people. I hope you enjoyed this fun little video of different concepts and that, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas. And until next time, goodbye.